Staying committed to a goal is more difficult for some people than it is for others. Most people have a goal and feel that burst of motivation at the start, but then as time goes on, when life continues, it becomes harder to keep motivated. There are several reasons for this. It might just turn out that you don't actually like the goal that you set. If you thought it would be cool to be able to run a marathon, but then realised during the process that you don't actually like running, then why would you be motivated to keep going? You could also feel like you aren't getting anywhere. If you decide to take up drawing and just can't see any improvement, then this can be another reason why you aren't feeling motivated. But even if neither of these examples apply to you, it's natural for us to lose motivation as our goals become less to the forefront of our minds and other things in life take over. So here are 7 ways to stay committed to your goals. And the first one is have small goals within big goals. When you first start something, you can have an idea about what you would love to be able to do, especially if it's skill-based. Like for many of my piano students, that might look like being grade 8 on the piano or to be able to play a specific song. But that one goal won't be enough to keep you working, especially when it gets hard and the initial motivation starts to die down. So I would use something called the 4-tier rule. This is where you set out goals into 4 timelines. And I'll give you 3 skill examples: running, piano, and drawing. The first tier is your end goal, things you want to have done in the end. That would be that marathon, or being grade 8 on the piano, or being able to paint a portrait of someone. The second tier is things you want to be able to do this year. These should be things that will help you towards that end goal, things like run a 10k or get to grade 2 on the piano, or perfect the art of getting face proportions correct in your drawing. The third tier is things you want to be able to do in the next 3 months. So be able to run for 30 minutes without a break, play a couple of grade 1 pieces on the piano, or draw a detailed eye. And the final tier is things you want to be able to achieve this week. This is where you can be really specific. So run 3 times this week, and the first time you're going to run 6 minutes and then 3 minutes walking times 3. Then the second time might be 6 minutes running, 2.5 minutes walking, and the third time might be 7 minutes running and 2 minutes walking. For piano, it might be work on the dynamics in a piece you are learning, or learn 4 more bars of the music, or learn your key signatures. And for drawing, that could be learning how to draw the eye shape or learn how to shade an eye. These 4 tiers are going to be different for everyone, and it really depends on what your goals are. The idea is that the day-to-day work that you have to put in to achieve your goal should be part of a much bigger plan, and having this map laid out for you will help you keep sight of your goals and stop you from losing motivation, instead of feeling like you can't see an end in sight. Which brings me on to number 2, create routine and habits. This is probably one of the most important things you can do to stay committed to a goal. If you are wanting to get fit or build physical muscle, you need to regularly exercise and create a pattern for yourself to follow. And this is the exact same thing for mental skills as well. Not only is routine great for mental health and stability, getting into a routine when you first set out a new goal can be really beneficial for normalising putting effort in. In order to learn or achieve a new skill, you need to put in thousands of hours of time into it, depending on what your goal is. So if you commit yourself to a routine, then that new goal will become a habit in your life, and it'll become much easier to keep going. Not only because of the routine itself, but also because you will feel progress from week to week, which will be motivating in itself and help you stay committed to achieving your goal. After all, there aren't many skills that won't require regular practice in order to see improvement, and you need to make it as normal as possible and as enjoyable as you can to stay committed. And that enjoyment might come from feeling the progress that you get from regularly working towards a goal. So it's like a cycle. Regular practice creates progress, progress creates enjoyment, and enjoyment makes you want to keep practicing. That's why it's so important to create routine and habits. Number 3, don't be comfortable. In order to be able to achieve anything, you have to keep pushing yourself. You have to keep moving the dial so that you aren't getting stuck and not actually getting closer to your goal. So if you want to stay committed to a goal, you want to be feeling like you're making progress. And this will only come if you're really challenging yourself and overcoming those challenges. If you don't challenge yourself, you can be putting a lot of effort and time into something and not get anywhere with it. There is a difference between pushing yourself and doing something that you aren't ready for, but there is also a difference between challenging yourself and being comfortable. It's really easy to do things you can already do, or do the easy things that don't take time and consideration. However, if you really want to progress with a goal, you have to be making your daily goals challenging and require thought. So if you find yourself thinking, I'll just do the easy things today because I don't feel like it, know that that's okay, you are welcome to do that. But every day you don't live in the uncomfortable is another day with missed opportunities to really take a big step towards your goals. If you are getting value from this video, be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Number 4, find your drive and ambition. Why do you actually want to achieve a goal? What is the point? What are you gaining out of it? Is it personal growth? Is it for a career? Is it for money? Is it for fun? This is a really important question to ask yourself, because knowing why you are doing something will help you find your drive and ambition. A good way of finding drive is not through comparison, but through inspiration. No two people ever take the same journey in life, so comparison is somewhat pointless. However, looking up to others as an example of what can be achieved with your goal might give you some inspiration and show you what's possible if you set your mind to it. This is a good way of giving you that fire and making you want to work hard. Another way of finding your drive is by quantifying success, and by this I mean follow the numbers. If you can see progress in the form of numbers, then this can be a really good driver for you and help you stay consistent. For example, with running, that might be the time it takes to run a certain distance. With piano, that might be how many bars of a piece have you learned. There are lots of ways of quantifying success in anything you are working towards. Finding your drive and reason for working towards a goal is going to be super important for staying consistent and committed in the long term, because if you don't really want to do it, then you just won't. And if you can see the progress you are missing in number form, then it might just stop you from missing that time spent working. Number 5, find a way of being accountable. Finding a way of being accountable can make it easier to push through and be committed to a goal when you really just don't feel like it. No matter what you are working towards, there will be times when you just don't want to put the effort in. How you deal with those times is what is going to be the difference between success or not. How many times have you heard of someone going to the gym for a month or two and then not feeling like it for a week and then never going back again? Maybe that's you. Maybe it's not. However, this happens all the time, and the reason for that is because allowing habits to slip once means that you can allow habits to slip twice, and you just fall out of regularity. When this happens, it is because you aren't holding yourself accountable for your goals, and it can be really hard to do that when you just don't feel like it. But as many of us will have experienced, when you do push through and do it despite the feeling that you don't want to, you always feel more productive and better having done it. And this is because you have overcome your biggest enemy, which is yourself. So how do you hold yourself accountable? Well, once again, you can do that by quantifying your progress. You can do that by setting yourself small daily goals that you can't miss. You can also find yourself an accountability partner, something like a gym buddy or someone else wanting to learn the same skill as you, or someone that is a similar level to you at work, or even a Facebook group. Having someone else at the same level pushing you, or someone to compete against, can really push you. When I was at music college, around 10 other pianists that were at the same level as me, this really pushed me to keep up with them and enabled me to get up at 6 AM every day to practice the piano, because I knew if I didn't, they would be there and I would be falling behind with the progress. This is what kept me accountable in the hard times, and is definitely one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable too. Number 6, enjoy the small wins. In the pursuit of a long-term goal, it's easy to remember the big goal, the thing at the end of the list, the ultimate thing that you want to do. But along the way, you have to learn to recognise progress as it happens. One of the largest reasons you might give up on a goal and not stay committed is because you don't feel like you're getting any closer, when often that isn't the case at all. You just feel like the end goal is a lot further away than you originally thought. If you feel like you are feeling overwhelmed with the size of a goal and it's affecting your ability to put time and effort in, then you just need to look one step ahead of you rather than trying to see the finish line in the distance. In one day we have limited time, and anything that's worth our time and effort is not going to happen in a day. So you have to focus on what you can actually achieve in a day and recognise what you have managed to achieve once you've done it. This is referred to by Darren Hardy in his book The Compound Effect, in which he refers to a strategy whereby you are able to accomplish huge things with consistent small actions. This is something to keep in mind when you are feeling intimidated by the task ahead. Look one step in front of you and the small steps will add up, and before you know it, you'll be further ahead than you ever expected. Number 7, don't be constrained by your current identity. This one is a little bit left of field, but I think this is so important, especially when you are going after a new goal in your life or some significant change. In life, we like to feel a sense of belonging and give everyone and ourselves labels and identities that represent us. I'll give you an example. From very young, I've always been known as that guy that plays the piano, and that is an identity that I happen to like. However, what if I decided to change career or move on to something else and have a different goal in life? Well, it would feel like starting again, and it would feel like being a different person. Although that's how it might feel, it's actually completely untrue. People are complex and have lots of interesting things about them, and we aren't just made up of one thing. So if you are concerned about starting something new or pursuing a goal where you feel like you would be at the bottom of the mountain again, You have to remember that you can achieve anything you want to, and the skills you already have will help you. Staying consistent when trying something that feels like uncharted territory is difficult because you can't gauge how long or how much work is going to be needed to get you where you want to be. But if you learn to find excitement in the unknown and not be held back by what people think of you, you can achieve and stay consistent with any goal. If learning the piano happens to be a goal for you, then you might be interested in the 5 things I wish I knew before I started to learn the piano. So be sure to go on through and I will see you there.